Yeah.
Oh,
Alright,
I gotta bring
again.
I gotta bring the Andy energy.
Gotta go deep. Go do deep.
You gotta go like a lot more enthusiastic, like
I thought that was pretty enthusiastic.
No,
slightly
more, bro.
higher pitch, I reckon.
Yeah, louder,
more
bro.
higher and a bit more
G'day,
sweet.
guys!
There we go.
That's it.
Alright, you ready?
This is so bad.
G'day, guys! I'm Andy.
And I'm Greg.
This is Greg and Andy Unleashed.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Anyway,
Oh,
guys, we're here today with our friends Greg and Andy. Well, we have taken over for this evening, Tim and I, and we're looking forward to learning a little bit more about our hosts. So, welcome to your
Wait,
show.
we're your guests, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a reversed episode.
Yeah.
Me and Brock are going to host this one, and these two are getting interviewed. But at the start there, obviously, we tried to be them, because we know we're hosting it. But anyway, how's it been, guys? How's it been the last couple of months? While the podcast has been under production from the get-go, how's it been? How's this adventure been for you guys?
Mate, it's been good. It's been a blast, bro.
Fantastic.
Mate,
Yeah.
this is an interesting feeling, mate.
Yeah, I
How's
know.
it-
I'm just
how's it feel being on
awkward
the other
sitting
end?
over on this couch.
What's it
So,
like being on the other side of the
so
table?
obviously Tim's trying to be Andy, Brock's trying to be me. Bro.
Oh, bro, I'm just
What
being
do you
myself.
mean?
Brock
Trying
can't
to.
get to this
They
level, bro.
nailed it. Bro.
Yeah.
They nailed it in the intro.
Bro, I've always saying that
That's
scene,
so
bro.
good.
That was just for the intro. We're just being ourselves.
Yeah. That's it, mate.
Any
so
like
funny.
things you've learnt, lessons, anything that you've actually kind of like you've learnt from this doing the podcast to start? Because this has only been a couple months.
Far out, I'm stumped on this chair, eh? Like, when you sit over here and you're getting the questions asked at you, you're like,
All over the show.
like, what am I trying to think? What am I thinking about? No, it's probably biggest one, obviously, for us is fixing the microphones. That's always good. Me not screaming into the microphones.
Oh yeah, that's been taking till like last week to figure out how to get you to
Yes.
not speak and scream.
Pretty
into it.
much. So when I listen to it back, even on the original recording, I can't really tell the difference between a really loud voice and a really quiet voice, just putting it out there. So I think it's all good, but obviously you need to understand that your audience isn't all deaf like me. So yeah, that's probably been one of the biggest learning experiences. And yeah, just kind of working through how the setup goes, and then
Not losing stuff. And
that's always a good thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not losing any camera stands or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
pointing out that there's been about 3 sessions that I haven't been here to help set up, and within those 3 weeks, you lose one of the
Oh,
stands.
he found it. He found it, bro.
I show up, the
Guess where it
second cupboard I look, just here, it's sitting there packed up.
Yeah,
I thought
I
about
almost
that.
threw it at Greg when I found it. It was so annoying. How do you manage to lose it in 2
It
sessions?
it was right where we left it.
You got the boxes there, they're just
No,
not
we
in there.
didn't lose it. We just stored it away there
Yeah.
next time, mate.
Bro.
When I came in for my podcast, I wish we could show it, but we had one of the phones that you're watching off now
I think I
set
have a
up.
photo. I'll chuck a photo in the
Yeah,
edit.
we'll chuck a photo set up
Man.
on a pulpit stand
Yeah.
instead of a
A music stand that had been flattened on top of one of these plastic boxes.
yeah
Blue tacked to the phone.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
keeping it classy, man.
Do
That's some
do
DIY
everything.
stuff right there.
Gotta do what
Gotta
you
make
gotta
it work,
do.
mate.
Gotta get
That's
the job
it.
done. The show must go on. Man, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. What about you, Greg? How's this been for you?
Mate, what an experience, eh? It feels so surreal to be the guy getting interviewed, mate.
What sounds like you're like.
What a beautiful feeling.
It sounds like you're shutting down the podcast.
Yeah, mate, we'll have to hand it over, man.
Yeah.
No, I don't want this one. I don't want
No, I just want you guys to see how it feels to have that pressure on you, because you know what? I'm gonna finish talking, and now you have to think of something to say.
Well,
I'll
that's
have to
why
do
you
more.
think ahead, Greg.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for your first question?
Organized, planning, not just showing
Wow,
up
bro.
and winging
You
it.
use your journal.
Hey, big facts.
Dude, we were
right,
so
man.
close. I was at his house just before coming here. I told him to get the diary that you can so that you could use it as a prop.
Yeah.
And he purposely left it back.
Oh, no.
I just forgot. Yeah. Nah,
He just
it's
doesn't
it.
want to use his Andy's gift.
Yes.
Nah, but it's been a good podcast. Like, yeah, I've said this before, but it started off as a bit of a joke. You know, we're just having a bit of a laugh, and then it's turned into something good. You know, I'd love to get some like really good, like preachers and missionaries and just people from church in general that would just give some good wisdom. Man, why not?
Nice.
Instead, you got us two.
Yeah, you got us to.
No,
you got-
unfortunately, you just got
Yeah,
carried
we
on.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Let's get some wisdom, mate. You know.
Oh, Greg's spitting out the wrist there.
Anyway.
what not to do.
So, you've started this podcast. It's been going for a few months. But when you guys started it, what was the purpose behind it, and what made you go into this? So, Greg, you.
I just answered that, bro. I didn't have a purpose to begin with, man. I was just joking. Around. But Andy, to your credit, mate, you kicked me into line. I like it. We
Good.
Yeah, he sorted me out, and I now I realise what the purpose is. It's to help people, man. You know, encourage people, especially like when you're just driving to work each day. You know, have something to listen to, something to put in the background. You know, hopefully it's not too annoying, not too many or loud noises. You know, but in general, it's good. You know, I hope people get encouraged. I hear good feedback from people, so you know.
That's good. And Andy, what was the purpose as to why you started the podcast?
Definitely was, as you know, this new generation is TikTok, Instagram, everything's, you know, just content pretty much, on social media, on listening to stuff. Podcast is definitely, it's been around for a couple of years where it's been one of the main things. A lot of people go from news now and they've switched over to watching or listening to podcasts. So yeah, just wanted to obviously be able to get out, have something on an open platform where people can go look at it at any point in time, or they can just watch it or listen to it, and just be able to learn some stuff from Christians' lives. Honestly, a bunch of ungodly people have beaten Christians to take over, you know, social media, to take over, you know, podcasts, this and that. So let's try and get some more about God and more about Christ.
Some of the ground back.
Yeah, 100%.
I like Andy's answer better than
Yeah, same. That was good.
So yeah, I mean, we both, Greg and I, like we did discuss beforehand, as much as he says, oh yeah, you know, it was just whatever, we did actually talk about, jotted down some things.
He's got to hold up the cool guy memo, doesn't he?
It's true, actually, it's true. He does a good job of that. So, but no, it was partly we started off just as a joke with Ray and Stat, who also have their own. Have a chat with Ray and Stat, guys. Go check it out. Some great episodes. We've been checking
Actually,
out,
to add into that,
coming
bro,
out
I reckon
recently.
if Ray and Stat didn't have one, I mean, personally, I don't know if I would have done one. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you know what? Shout out to them boys, because they really kicked this off. And mate, we're waiting for the collab one day, mate. One day, bro.
TNS
Yeah,
this year, man.
soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man.
And that's also just to answer that as well. That's the power of influence. I think everyone has a lot of influence. There's a lot of people in church that come along to church that we can sit down with here on the podcast, and they don't understand how much of an influence they have just by their life and their testimony.
Yeah.
Sometimes just by putting that out in an open forum, people can see it, and sometimes they can actually see it. Oh wait, I actually have more of an influence than I realized.
Yeah.
Especially like even people in the church that might be a bit elderly. You know, like the reality is, although you try not to have it, there's sometimes a bit of a gap between the young guys and the older people, and then you realise these old people got such a good story to tell. You know, some of them have gone to have like insane lives. You know, and just to be able to hear their story, if you get online, it's where the young people go to listen. You know, like that's it, man.
Building the bridge between the young and old.
That's it, man. Yeah.
I thought I'd hear that about Greg. That's good.
This guy.
I always thought that the origin of this place was of the podcast was from Ray and Stack. I remember you guys kicked off real well at TNS, and then you guys kept in contact, and then and you guys just started chatting. You started planning. I'm like, oh, this is actually taking off. Oh, okay. That's all I remember from it. When you showed up for the first time, it's pretty much kicked off straight away. I think. Yeah.
Explain to the podcast what you guys do outside of church. So I think a lot of us get the opportunity of seeing each other in the church environment, serving ministries, but tell us a little bit about your life outside of church and outside of the podcast.
Yeah, alright, well, I can go first. I've always, I first started as I work as an electrician, as an apprentice. So I'm 4th year now, so getting there. By the end of this year, I should be qualified, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, like I've always enjoyed sport. I don't play any social sport now, but I used to play a lot of soccer. But yeah, I like to go to the gym. What else is there about me? Not very interesting. Yeah. Nah, well, outside of church, I like to help people, especially people that, like for example, John Mackay. I really like helping him out. But yeah, just like being willing to lend a hand when I can. But yeah, I'm pretty chill.
Very good.
Have a pretty relaxed lifestyle. Yeah. What about you, Andy?
For me, I love how you ask.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not supposed to say that. My bad.
That's so good. No, but honestly, shout out to you, man, for helping out with John Mackay. I went along one time to help you guys out, and yeah, far out. Like, a lot of work you guys doing, and man, it's massive encouragement. It was massive encouragement to me, so I just wanted to let everyone know that. So, for me, I work in carpentry. I work with John and Pete. So, John and Pete, when are you guys coming on? Hopefully soon.
Pete will never come on this thing.
No, I reckon I could get him on. We'll even give you guys a round of applause.
No,
at the end.
I sent him a text and he left me on red.
Unbelievable.
I said, come to the podcast, just left me on red. Didn't even say no.
Case closed.
So there you go. He's definitely not coming on.
So I work in carpentry with those guys and with a company that they work with too. And other than that, I do a bit of ice skating. And so if anyone's down for some ice skating, hit me up. Always interested in going for ice skating. And obviously a bit of training. And at the moment I'm trying to learn, so I'm going over to another country, to Mexico, with the gears in about a month and a half or so. So I'm trying to learn Spanish at the moment. So yeah,
nice.
that's
Can you say something?
a little bit of my time.
You say
Mi nombre
something,
es Andy.
Is that a compliment?
His name
Yes.
is Andy.
Oh, what?
Compliment.
Yeah, I think
His
he's dissing
name
me.
is Andy.
He's dissing me.
He even said his name in English. Like, how'd you get that wrong?
Yeah, and other than that, just obviously trying to learn different skills. So obviously really enjoy talking to Brock and learning from Brock a lot of things about business and money. So yeah, they're the main things working on at the moment.
So can I rip on Greg?
Go ahead.
Can I,
Mate,
okay,
you can't.
so
What are we roasting him on?
Greg, you mentioned that you are in your 4th year of your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Can you first clarify when you started that?
When I started what?
Your 4th year of your apprenticeship.
December.
Do they teach you in your 4th year of your apprenticeship to put wall dogs in properly?
Hey, bro, you know what, man?
Wall dogs.
I know what you're going to say here, bro. Listen, the reality is, sometimes you're going to cut costs, alright? if it's your mate, it's mate's rates for a reason, alright?
He's got nothing.
So to give you some context, Greg came and done some electrical work at my place, and one of the lights on the roof, he was meant to screw up some wall dogs. Now, I don't know if he just used some plasterboard screws,
yeah.
and he cheaped out on the wall dogs. So now the lights are falling out.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, that sounds like Greg.
It's all about the angles, mate, you know? Sometimes
Right.
the light comes in on a perfect angle, mate. I'm thinking about
Yeah.
you, bro. I'm actually thinking about you.
Gotcha.
I got you.
So, Andy, you mentioned before that you're going over to Mexico in a few months' time. Can you explain to us what you're doing over there and why you're going over there?
So I'm going with the gears, obviously just to learn a little bit more about children's ministry and just for the purpose of going over for a missions trip. And honestly, I have not much of a clue what we're actually going to be doing exactly, but figure it out as we go along. Hopefully just able to be a blessing to the people over there, some of the churches over there. And they have some of them have building projects going, so should be able to just lend a hand pretty much there. And yeah, it's still a bit foggy to me. I'm not really sure what's happening, but figure it out as we go along.
Sometimes those are the best trips.
Yeah,
You don't know
yeah.
what to expect. I'm just going for a ride.
That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
That's the best.
So as we were talking about actually last time when you were here about just going over to other places and just being able to encourage other missionaries and other people in other places. I think that'll probably I'll just hopefully be able to just have some fellowship and be an encouragement to them and vice versa.
Yeah.
So,
And Greg, you're doing something similar a bit later on in the year as well with Caleb Wilson.
Yeah.
So can you explain to us what you personally are doing in preparation for that?
Yeah.
And also know that you're going to try and raise some money
Yep.
and what you're trying to do there and what the whole purpose of the trip is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the whole purpose is pretty much to build Caleb Wilson a house. So we're not doing the entire thing, we're just doing what we can. So at the moment we're doing the plumbing, the electrical, and some of the chippy work for it. So yeah, it's going to be a good trip, really good experience, to be honest. It's definitely stretching me out of my comfort zone, but that's almost a good thing, you know. If you're doing something that you know you can't do in your own power, you know God's in it. So especially if it's not falling apart.
Yeah.
So far it's not, which is good. So at the moment we have a container on our church property, which is holding a lot of gear, And actually, all us young adults were able to raise money to put stuff inside that, buy him a new quad, stuff like this. Buy him flat packs from IKEA, stuff that he's going to need for his house. So we're going to chuck all the plumbing electrical gear in now. We're raising money for that. And then, we're going to send it over there, go over in September. We're going to build it all, which will be good. And we'll just be a blessing, see how it goes. They're really, I can't plan too, I'm just in the stage of planning right now, but I can't get too stressed,
Yeah.
Because it's obviously bigger than me, and God's got it in control.
Absolutely. So you said that you're raising some money. How much money do you need to raise, and how much have you raised so far?
Yeah, so from the calculations I've done, it's looking around 40 grand. It could get lower. I'm really hoping it's going to be lowered. I've talking to some people now that know some ways around things that we could reduce the price, and if that's the case, that'll be a big blessing. But we're looking to raise 40 grand. At the moment, we're at four grand. But I only brought this to the church like a few weeks ago. But we're going to start up fundraising and stuff.
But that 4 grand doesn't include what the young adults raised last year to buy the quad bike. So there's been other stuff since then. Cool.
Yeah.
So if anyone watching the podcast feels as though that this is a project that they want to get behind and support you, how can they contribute to that?
It's a good question. I might...
You can always contact the socials or anything like that.
Yeah, contact me direct, or we might even look at putting a link or something in the bio. That might be a good way to do it. But man, if God puts this on your heart, please go give towards it, because it's for a good cause. It's not just his house. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. We're not just building his house. This is his home, that when he goes out to the mission field, he's going to work hard. He's going to have... The reason he's moving to this island at the moment is because all the neighbouring islands around there, they can't... This is the one centre point they can all go to. So all the pastors of the other islands, they're all going to come to him. They're going to go through a Bible college. They're going to get better trained as pastors. So this whole project is his home for his family. He's got 2 young girls and his wife. We want him to come home safe each night, feel protected, feel like he's got a home, so that way he can go out to the ministry. There's nothing worse than being in a foreign land and you're not feeling safe, in your own home. So, if we can help him like that, that's just going to help.
Do you know what his current situation is?
Yeah, so he's on furlough at the moment. So he's in America, but he's sold his house. He was living on the mainland, and so he sold that now. So when he comes back, they'll be living in the church, his family, and he'll be out on the building site every day, getting it ready for us. So yeah.
And the planning and that, we've talked a few times just about the nitty gritty stuff, and there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Even the electrical stuff, you're talking about off grid solar panels and stuff like that. That's stuff that no offense, a 4th year apprentice probably doesn't know much about.
No, exactly.
So having to actually do your research, talk to people, and kind of head that up yourself, it's.
Well, that it's not. Yeah, it's I don't want to say it's all me. It's really God.
That's what I'm saying. There's definitely outside our capabilities.
Yeah, exactly.
But God's working in it, and it's working. It's getting there.
And that's one thing I'm trying to really make known to everyone. It's I'm not doing this myself. If people can help and be involved, man, I want that more. People have so much more knowledge than me. If I can get their experience and expertise, why not? So yeah, no, it's awesome, bro.
And in terms of the future, outside of the podcast and within the podcast, what's it looking like for you boys?
Oh, you want to answer that one, Andy?
You look at me. It up to me.
Yeah, you do it.
In what specific area or what regards?
Let's talk about the podcast. Where's the podcast looking for the future? What you got goals? You got stuff you're working towards?
Yeah, so definitely working towards. We sat down at the start of the year and just put down a bit of a list of the people that we'd love to get on, have a chat with, and continuing just to grow. We want to grow it, obviously, as we ourselves grow. And we love that, the people that have started with us, that you guys will be able to grow with us. We'll obviously be able to adjust equipment. We'll be able to get new equipment, just slowly move up, slowly progress as we obviously progress as well, as individuals. And then just bringing in other people, learning from their stories, and just being able to be a blessing, be an encouragement to people that listen to it. So thank you again, everyone that does listen to it. So main goals are obviously just being consistent with it, and then just slowly upgrading as we do.
Yeah, I've always had this thought, like, get your content good first, then worry about the quality of everything else. Although the sound quality is very important, because I've had people tell me, I don't even care what the content is. If I can't even listen to it, there's no point. So, you know, we sorted that hopefully now. So
You're getting there.
the rest is up.
And I can say that the hearing about people's lives and their testimonies and learning from them, I don't listen to them, but I do the editing, so I do get to hear all of it.
You don't listen
I don't want to contribute to the view account. No, just kidding.
Wow. Our biggest hater. That's it. He's sitting here.
But it's like, there's a sense of like, it's just fascinating hearing about people's lives and what they've gone through and what they've learned. It's actually interesting.
Hearing about Brock and his firewood business. That's fascinating.
That's cool. What were you doing at 13, right?
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. But that can also be an encouragement to anyone out there. They're, you know, let's say they're 16, 17 years old. They're a Christian. They're going, oh, I've got two different options. And this is what I always oftentimes thought growing up. You have, you know, going and making money, or going and, you know, let's say doing something with your life, or being a Christian. Whereas you can actually be a Christian, follow God, and you can continue to progress and grow, as Brock showed us.
It's awesome. All different walks of life, and it's just fascinating.
So yeah, that's in regards to the podcast. That's where we're heading.
Yep.
What about into career-wise, whether that be in a secular role or in a ministry role? Where are you guys both heading, or where do you believe the Lord's leading you in that regard?
Yeah, I have no idea, bro. Yeah, that's one of those things I've never really known. Yeah, we'll just see. I'll just keep praying.
Man's out here living by faith.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Facts.
Led by the cloud, mate. You know, like Moses.
Led by faith and not by sight.
Yeah, that's it.
It would be obviously just settling in here at Brisbane. Obviously enjoying the job where I'm working at the moment, and just keen to really continue to make money there, invest in some things up here in Brisbane, obviously in property, and I would definitely love to just continue to learn more about that over the next 5-10 years. And yeah, some big things definitely coming. So yeah, really excited for it.
We were talking a couple of weeks ago, and you said that you might want to go into getting your Cert 4 and then potentially
right.
a builder's license.
Yeah.
What would you want to do in that?
Yeah, I would love to create a building company. That is one of my dreams, would be to work with a building company, or to create a building company. And so one of the easiest ways would obviously be for me to start it as a builder, learn the ropes, and then you can go ahead and show other people how to do it. We'll see what happens exactly with that, but that is definitely something I'd be interested in. So that was originally the reason I actually got into carpentry in the first place. Was I saw how houses went from nothing to something, and I was like, that is so cool. And I just love how that actually happens, the whole process of building. I think, generally speaking, in all of our jobs, even all of our jobs here, and it's interesting, when you look at a lot of jobs that guys do, it actually has often to do with building. You're either building a client base, you're building people's health, you're building, you know, different systems, you're building buildings, definitely building.
Yeah, God gave us that creativity, didn't he? And yeah, he created the world. You could say he built the world in a sense. So, yeah, that's something that he is ingrained upon in us. And yeah,
for sure,
really interesting.
There's some sermon notes right there, man.
Take notes.
That's it.
Where's the diary that
You know, I'm going to forget that by the end of the podcast. I won't be able to use it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have your journal.
It's your fault.
It's true, bro. Don't worry, I don't remember anything anyway. It's all good.
So, and then in regards to ministry, obviously I'm assuming just continuing.
Yeah. Just see where God takes me, bro.
Yeah.
There's opportunities. I have had other missionaries reach out saying, "Can you help me out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to." I'm just gonna wait till we're done the PNG project, because one thing at a time. And there's obviously a need. There's a massive need to just go help these missionaries out in the field. That they're preaching the word. They need our support, not just from back here, but if we can go over there and be a blessing, why not? You know. So that's definitely something that's on my heart.
I've been there when the people I've talked to. There's so many people that are just they have like a need for just general living conditions that needs to be like they need that sort of support. And like if that's something that God can open up, man, that's years of just stuff that you could just be doing for other missionaries. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that's obviously with God's direction and leading.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's so true.
So, Greg, the last time I was on the podcast, you were telling me how you have a heart for missions.
Yeah.
Can you please expand upon that now and tell us why and where that passion came from and sort of what your vision is in regards to being able to support missions in the future?
I'm not plugging the YouTube channel.
While Greg is thinking about that, remember to like and subscribe to this video.
He actually had to whisper it twice.
And and even comment, like it, share it. All those things help the algorithms to get us in front of more people, and obviously that's what we want as a podcast.
Yeah.
So back to you, Greg.
Wow, bro, that was beautiful. So pretty much, where did my heart come from? I think, just always had a bit of a heart to help people. I've always liked that. And then just when you see, like, for example, Caleb Wilson, that wasn't just like some supernatural, whoa, I got to do this thing. I just had a chat to him. He said he had a need. I felt God say to me, what's stopping you? I'm like, all right. Just started it, I think that's a lot of things. With like I'm not going to have the same passions as everyone else about certain things, but whatever God gives you a passion for, go and do it to the best of your ability. Like, don't half-heart it, And, people will get behind you. And that's what I've been seeing, So, yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfectly, bro.
I do find that, especially with like just us young blokes, when we see something that there's an opportunity somewhere, there's no reason why people won't support that. If it's genuinely what your heart's for, and it's like, it's just...
Well, that's it. Like, in your life, you can live it for yourself or live it for others, live it for God. Like, really, you can sort of see where someone's at by their fruit, in a way. So, I'd just challenge people, like, see where your heart's at. Do you try and run away from every opportunity to help, or you like trying to find an excuse, or you're trying to find a way to make it work? Like, that's a good way to look at it. So,
Yeah, especially while we're young and single, while we have time.
Just gotta highlight that word, bro.
Well, we've got a girlfriend, but not married, so I don't have the same level of commitments yet. Yeah. So, while we still have that time, we can spend it towards doing those things and traveling and doing more work for the Lord. And that's something that any young single person, can strive to do more of. I've got a question for Andy, but it's a bit of a change of direction.
Fantastic.
Segue. Andy, obviously over the last few years you've had a few big changes in terms of where you're living, what you're doing for work. Can you walk us through, what you were doing 3 or 4 years ago, then obviously moved to F45 and then transitioned to Queensland? Walk us a bit through that and what you've taken out of those last few years of life.
Yeah, for sure. So I used to be doing carpentry, which was about 3 years ago, working with Greg's uncle, actually, down in Sydney. Amazing job there. And I was a part invested into some F45s, and there was one in Sydney that wasn't running very well, coming out of COVID. A lot of gyms were struggling, and so I moved into it. So I moved out of carpentry, moved into doing like on-the-job, personal or fitness coaching or team coaching for an F45, and just started to work on that. So I was working in that for about a year and 9-10 months, or year and 11 months, nearly 2 years, and then moved back. Actually, I got an injury, so I was injured. I wasn't able to coach properly and needed to move back into another job, pretty much. And this job came along. Shout out to John for helping me get into this job, and was able to move back into carpentry. The reason I moved the reason I moved up here, I always just wanted to live out of Sydney, at least live out of Sydney for a little bit, and moved up to Brisbane, and hey, it's a great place to be. It's nice and warm, there's plenty of stuff happening here, and it's a lot more cruisy than Sydney is, and yeah, absolutely love it, being up here. So yeah, moved up here, and then I was thinking about moving back down to Sydney, after a little bit, or moving somewhere else. And yeah, just got plugged in, honestly. Came into Good Shepherd and just got plugged into Good Shepherd. And the first time I came, a lot of people said hi to me. That was something that was really significant to me, just people being friendly. The other thing was when I got my injury and wasn't really able to coach very well at F45, that came, and it was really annoying at first, because when I moved to a different job, because I was thinking, hey, I need to move to a different job. I'm up here in Brisbane. Unfortunately, there's not too many F45s here in Brisbane still. So I've got to think, what new job can I do? And I like to obviously jump into a job and just, work as hard as I can and just learn as I go. And
I'm trying to get comfy, bro.
Unbelievable.
My bad.
And so, yeah, because of that injury, I wasn't able to obviously just, jump into any job and just go gung-ho on it. And it really caused me to just step back and start to trust God. I'd actually been praying that God would help me to just trust him a bit more. And if you pray for something, sometimes, more often than not, God will answer it, even if it's a dumb prayer. If you've ever asked for, humility, or you've asked for, growth, or you've asked for, what did I just ask for? Trust, faith, then God will oftentimes bring it along, and he will put you through hard things to then learn and to grow. So it's something I'm slowly learning, is if I can put myself through more things that challenge me, oftentimes God won't need to bring along these hard challenges. So yeah, that's pretty much been a bit of a recap of the last couple of years, and yeah, excited to be here in Brisbane, and just growing and seeing everyone else around me grow. And honestly, God is doing some huge things. Like, I know multiple people that are either turning to God or just getting saved, and it's exciting. Brisbane, all around Australia, and it's really exciting to see what God's doing at the moment. A lot of people have a lot of fear. God's coming back soon, and just the world's ending, this and that. No problem. There's a lot of things that make it look like that. But at the same time, God's still doing a work day to day, and people are getting saved, and people are growing. It's just super exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So on the ministry topic, you're quite involved in youth ministry, and I know we've had discussions before about you feeling as though that you want to do more in that space.
Yeah.
What has led you to be so interested in that, and why do you think it's so important?
The reason I'll answer the second question first if I can. The reason it's so important is because the world and all of the crazy ideals that stem back from the devil are just literally being implanted into children's and youth's minds day in, day out. With school, any type of social medias, TikTok, all of this happens. And so it's just really important, obviously, to get out and reach children and youth. The statistics are, I can't remember how it works, but under the age of 14, I can't remember, don't quote my statistics here. Is it like 80% people get saved under the age of 14? I can't remember, but it's a high number of people that actually got saved, I think it's under the age of 14 or 12 or something like that. So yeah, that's the reason why. And then for how I got into it was when I was finished youth. So back in Sydney, I finished youth, and then about half a year after I finished youth, someone asked me to just join working with the kids, and it just became a real burden on my heart to see children actually understand and to grow. And also, I can think back to when I was a kid, and I think about, okay, what was the main thing I looked for or I looked at when I went to Impact Kids or I went to Impact Youth? And I think for myself, it was, how did these people live their lives? How did my teachers live their lives? Did what they say, did it match up with their life? Or were they kind of just always
Just
sad.
testimony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was just working down in Sydney for about 6 or 7 years with just children's ministry on Friday night and then kids clubs, that kind of thing. So just moved up here and just obviously just wanted to see where I can help. So Jay Bears, who organises all the children's ministries, he's just been able to just give me just a spot to be able to just jump in and help out where I can. So
Awesome.
really excited to just be working with the amazing team.
Yeah.
Doing it. So
Yeah. That's great.
I was gonna say that I know that the kids age and like youth group, like high school age, they are, I mean, technically like two separate ministries. Your youth group and kids, they are. I can kind of say that they're different in their own ways, but they both follow the same. Like they're both young people that just they can read through anything, and they just want to just find they can easily read people's testimonies in a sense. They can just read people, both no matter what age they are. They read people whether they're faking it or if they're just living a genuine life, and it's kind of just like you're in kids ministry and like we're doing youth at the moment. It's like, well, use the example like youth are just living completely different types of lives. They're both just young people that are looking for what the right answers are. And I'm like, okay, that's actually it's true though. But
yeah, for sure.
It's definitely a need.
Yeah, definitely, and that's where I obviously group them together. Is where I say like both of those groups are just being hit massively on a huge scale.
You can tell that. I speak from the youth perspective because that's where I am, but even from the state schools, it's just they come to youth group and it's just they've been hit with everything you can think of, and it's just like, dang, I've grew up in a church and can probably say pretty sheltered from all that stuff, and it's just kind of like, wow, I thought I had it rough. Just that the kids are just searching for what the right truth is. Yeah,
It's true.
definitely hard to just kind of ignore it. You can't ignore it, but it's hard to. I don't want to ignore it. Obviously, I want to help and point them to the right direction, but it's hard to see.
Yeah. It's interesting when like our society turns away from God, how there's a lot more confusion, a lot more fear. It's just the opposite of God. So it's interesting. It's something that we just got to keep doing our part. If every Christian just did their part, I reckon that you'd see a big change. So it's good.
Yeah, I've often thought, if every Christian saw at least or if every Christian led at least one person to Christ in their whole life, just one, we would at least be breaking even in regards to numbers. But I feel as though that the number of Christians in the world is diminishing. So I think there's a massive need for us as Christians to have a greater passion and a greater burden for soul, because I want to clarify, it's not us saving people, it's the Lord. However, the Lord can use us as vessels to be able to talk to others and to be able to and spread the gospel.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that, if you think about it, even like you say, help lead one person to the Lord every lifetime. Imagine if it was just one person every year.
yeah,
You were part of, like, just helping someone find Christ every year.
yeah,
Imagine how much our local churches would grow. Even if it's like in university, your workplace, it's a good mate you get to chat to. Like, I know it's something that seems like, I don't know, I don't want to chat to people about that. That's what the Bible's told us to do. Like, go and preach the word. I'm obviously guilty of it, but like, imagine how much of a difference that would make in just a local community.
yeah.
True.
Dang, it's just taking that step to go actually talk to someone that's outside our comfort zone. But sad reality isn't.
Yeah.
All it takes is just a conversation.
Yeah,
Being a bit open about what we believe in.
yeah, yeah,
It's convicting, mate.
It is.
yeah. How much are we really doing for the Lord?
Not as much as we should.
Good question.
I think, like, me personally, I'm worrying too much about, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Obviously, as Christians, we are meant to be worrying about how we're living our lives, but obviously focusing too much on that because clearly I'm not talking to anyone about Christ or anything. So it's a bit of a slap in the face, that one, but
Yeah, so true.
probably a good one.
100%.
It's always encouraging when we do get to see especially just our young adults. Someone's new. That's a friend of someone. They've shown up, and you see a couple of weeks later they've gotten saved. And there's a young man that's a friend of Alvin's or something like that. He just got baptized about a week or so ago.
Nice.
I think it was him.
Yeah.
And he's just out of the blue as part of the volleyball team. They got chatting and he got saved, and then he got baptized. I'm like, oh, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
being open and genuine about who you are and what we believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's being a good testimony.
Sometimes we overcomplicate it, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
On that note as well, on people and their relationship with God, if you guys can remember to pray for David, he's a boy that used to come to the children's group in Sydney, and he got very sick last year, and I know I've said this before on the podcast, but just pray for him to be able to remember his relationship with God and to be able to remember more about God, etc. So, yeah, just wanted to plug that in right there.
Yeah. So for another question, we might even call it a wrapping up question, maybe. What is one word of advice that you give to a younger Christian?
You go first, Greg.
And while we give them a second to think of that, just remember, guys, that liking and subscribing this podcast really helps these boys here. So if you have enjoyed today, please give it a like and a subscribe. If it's on Instagram, give us a follow and leave a comment, share the post. It really helps the podcast grow, and it helps these guys' face get shown to more people, which is what we want, really.
That's scary. If we want to see that face. The content's good.
Greg will pay me up.
Got you.
I was thinking about this on the way, actually. What my answer would be. I
Came
totally
prepared.
forgot it.
You probably spun up this really good thing.
I did. I was thinking, yes,
literally.
literally. Yes.
I remember you sitting in the car.
Exactly
You're like,
what I was
thinking about
doing.
questions the way here. I was like, whoa,
That's
not prepared to
100%.
wait.
I was thinking of this exact question because I was thinking, hey, we always ask this, they're bound to ask this question.
100%.
Totally forgot what my answer was going to be. But definitely for myself, if I could go back in time and talk to my younger self, one of the biggest things I would say, and now I remember what it was, is we do, like we've just been talking about, we get so worried about what other people are thinking about us, then we forget what God's actually thinking about us. And something I'm starting to realize is most often our pride is that we stand in the way of God doing something great through us. Oftentimes I think majority of the time, it's not us lifting ourselves up and thinking, oh, we're so great, we can do so many good things to God. I think it's actually the opposite. I think that we, in our pride, we say, God, you can't use me to do something great. Or you can't use me to be a blessing, to be an influence. So if I could go back, say to my younger self, I would say, Andy, actually remove yourself out of the way. Stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about how can I allow God to use me? And because God is so much bigger than me, and he's so much bigger than the whole earth, he can use me to do something great.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I agree with that. And for me, my thought would be focus on relationship over religion, and especially in church. If you grow up in church, you're told every day, read your Bible when you wake up, go pray, go to your day, come home, read your Bible, pray. It's very strict. It's almost like religion. Like Christianity is not supposed to be like that. If you find that that's what your life is, you're just doing this because your mum or dad tell you to do it. You got to try and break that, and to do that you have to get an actual relationship with Jesus, and doing that will change your life in a very positive way. And yeah, it's obviously a journey. Everything's a journey. Don't go too fast through life. Just take a chill.
Take it as it comes.
That's really clear.
Right, Greg.
Yeah. But yeah, just I don't know. Yeah, that's probably my main thought. Was just just focus on having a real relationship. Over just following the rules, and God will use that. He'll use a heart that wants to serve him. Yeah.
So, guys, what was the experience like being the host of the podcast?
Yeah, it was good. At times, you go, oh man, I've got to ask the question now. You got to think of something on the spot. But it's a good challenge being on this side. I probably personally find it easier being on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good challenge being on this side. It's been good hearing you guys' perspective on a few other things that I think we've had some discussion on before, but maybe not as in depth as this one. So it's been an enjoyable experience.
It's good, mate.
I'm probably a little bit opposite. Like, it has been enjoyable. Yeah, it's been good fun. Obviously, trying to bring the same amount of energy Andy brings, and it's on another level. But I actually kind of prefer being on this side.
Yeah.
I get to be like, I feel like, not that it's out of my control, but I can like make things flow. Yeah. But it's harder with you guys because we know you guys very well.
Yeah.
So asking these questions and trying to delve deep, like I mentioned before, it's hard because I don't know what to ask because I already know it all. I don't know what these guys don't know.
Yeah.
But that's probably the difficult part, and obviously, but I don't know, I feel like it's obviously if you had spent the time beforehand and actually asking the questions that you really wanted to know, it wouldn't be like, obviously that's a bold statement, but it's enjoyable to say the least.
Yeah.
I reckon it's good fun just poking the questions where you want to ask more information. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good fun.
Experience.
I like putting you guys under pressure, even though we were the ones who were having awkward pauses.
Yeah.
Greg, how was it like sitting on this side, mate?
Beautiful, mate. I loved every second. It was good.
You guys didn't have to do anything.
And Andy, how was it like for you, brother?
I hate it. Absolutely. I way prefer to sit there and ask people questions. I prefer to learn about other people than learn about myself.
This has actually worked out well. Greg and I, who I'm imitating Greg, so we've enjoyed it. Well, enjoyed being on that side rather. Yeah. And Tim and Andy, they enjoy being on this side.
Yeah.
So
we picked our.
All right, it's Greg and Tim Unleashed. All right, guys, thanks for coming. It's Greg and Tim Unleashed.
Brock and Tim. Yeah. Oh no, Greg, Tim and
Andy.
No,
it's Tim and
Andy. Wait, never mind. Edit that. It's Andy and Tim and Andy. Yeah, never mind. That's how much I love being on this side.
Alrighty, guys, we're gonna leave it there. This is Greg and Andy Unleashed.